What's up, friends? Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. Thanks for joining me today. So, Ramadan is less than a week out, and it got me thinking, you should do a Ramadan tips for Revert's video. So that's what I'm doing. Today, I'm going to be bringing you Ramadan tips from a Revert himself. So, jumping right in. Ramadan is fasting. Sun up to sundown, no food, no water. So it can be a little scary if you've never fasted a day in your life. Even if you only fasted a couple days, 30 days it can be a little bit daunting. So if you're apprehensive about your first Ramadan, you're totally justified in feeling that way. I had a little apprehension going into my first Ramadan as well, because I was doing it alone and it was like 30 days. I think the most I ever fasted before was like 40 hours or so. Like, I don't know, it was like a day and a half-ish. But I digress. Ramadan is not only fasting from food and water for 30 days, but you're also going to be fasting from smoking, cussing, sex, backbiting, any of the other stuff that's haram for the rest of the year. You're fasting from all that. Sun up to sundown. And the things that are haram, you shouldn't be doing any time of the year regardless. So that being said, it can be a little bit daunting, but it's just how you frame it, It's only scary because it's something that's unfamiliar. You're inexperienced with fasting. But hey, look at this. Once you do this, you will be experienced. You'll be an experienced faster. So, there's a silver lining right there. And it's not too bad, honestly. Once you get a few days into it, it's not going to be too bad for you. But if you look at it, if you frame it like this is a total body cleanse, because this fasting really is good for you. People go out of their way to do it that are non-Muslims. So there's goodness in it. Allah would not have ordained it for us if there was no benefit in it. So this is for our benefit, It's a total body cleanse, physically, spiritually, and you should be letting go of bad habits. Like, this is a perfect time to drop all the rest of those remaining bad habits that you have, that we all have, myself included. This is a time for us to reflect. It's the month of the Quran, amongst other things, not just fasting. So it helps you really appreciate your blessings, honestly. Like, there's a lot of people in the world that have a lot less than ourselves. There's people, if you're watching this, you have an internet connection. So there's, I don't know what the number is, but if you go search on Google, because Google knows everything. So if you go search on Google how many people in the world don't have an internet connection, you're automatically from jump doing better than all those people. So, it helps us appreciate how blessed we really are with the food we have, all the luxuries, all the small things. So it's really something that's going to bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and help us purify ourselves. So Ramadan, you might think, is like you're going to be fasting and not doing much, which is what I thought going into my first Ramadan too. But I was like totally mistaken. It's like way busier than the rest of the year. There's a lot of extra acts of worship that you can participate in. And I found myself to be a lot busier than throughout the rest of the year. So that's something that you should take into consideration. Like, my first Ramadan, I was like, oh, I'll save these things for Ramadan because I'm going to be doing less. I'm going to have more time. But it totally didn't work out like that. And since I left those things to take care of during Ramadan, it was like, man, now I have a lot of stuff to do. So I would recommend, if you have any big to-dos in your life right now, to take care of them before Ramadan hits. Just make it easier on yourself, particularly if it's your first Ramadan. So, like I said before, Ramadan is the month of the Quran, amongst other things. So the Quran is divided into 30 parts, or juz. I think it's juz. I think I'm saying it right. It's J-U-Z. Juz, I think, is the proper pronunciation, but whatever. So anyway, there's 30 juz, 30 parts. and Ramadan is 30 days. So you're going to want to read one juz per day. So, by the end of the month, you've completed the Quran. So it's going to be like roughly an hour a day. Like if you can set aside that 1 hour per day where you can read Quran and do a juz a day or a juz a night, then you'll get through the entire Quran in the month of Ramadan. And there's increased blessings. I'm not sure exactly, you can look it up, but there's increased blessings for each letter of the Quran that you read during the month of Ramadan. And the month of Ramadan is also the most blessed nights in the Islamic calendar. Okay, so there's a lot of extra worship that you can do. You can head to the mosque, the masjid, and you can pray Taraweeh, which is a 20 rakat prayer, which I thought would take forever. But the first time I went there, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty quick. Like, depending on the imam that you have at your local masjid that you visit, it may vary, but it definitely went quicker than I thought it would. And you're supposed to be spending your nights at the masjid if you are available to do so. There's a lot of socialization. You can build those relationships with the ummah. And really, it's really enjoyable. So it's something to look forward to, I'd say. So yeah, you can read Taraweeh at the masjid. And there's other acts of worship. You should be praying tahajjud if you can. But really, it's going to be a busier month than you might think. So just keep that in mind heading into it. Next point. So this next tip is like a hack. It's like one of the bigger tips that I can give you. And this might be something that you can use. It might not be. So I've been self-employed the entire time that I've been Muslim. So I make my own schedule. And that's really helped me out during Ramadan. If you're somebody who works a 9 to 5 or at a place where you have a set work schedule, this may not apply to you. But this is definitely one of the bigger tips that I can give you. Staying up all night and sleeping during the day. So you're going to be fasting during the day. And like I said, the nights are the most blessed in the whole calendar, the Islamic calendar. So with all these things, I figured I'd do them at night. And after Fajr, after the sunrise prayer, I'll go to sleep after sunrise. And I sleep from right after sunrise until midday during the time of Dhuhr. So that's what I've been doing for the last 4 Ramadans. Like 3 so far, but I'll be doing it again this year. Just because it works out the best. I limit the time that I actually have to be awake. And since the nights are so busy, I go to the masjid and pray Taraweeh. I'll do my Quran reading. I'll go to that gym. I'll cook something. I'll pray tahajjud. And then I'll do my 2 rakat sunnah of Fajr and 2 rakat fard of Fajr. And then I'll go to bed. And don't forget about suhoor. Suhoor is the meal that you have before you start your fast. Don't miss that. That's pro tip right there. Do not miss it. When I was staying up during the day, because my first Ramadan, I was staying up during the day. And I missed suhoor 3 days in a row. And I was hurting. I was hurting really bad. So I was like, man, I got to do something different. And that's when it hit me to stay up during the night, since the nights are so busy and they're more blessed. Stay up during the night. And then after Fajr, you can go to sleep and wake up in the time of Dhuhr and then do what you have to do during the day. So I would work, I'd wake up, I'd pray Dhuhr, and then I'd go work, pray Asr, go back to work until Maghrib time. And that's what's worked out best for me, because you're really limiting the hours that you're even awake during the day, and you're getting all the stuff done at night and getting the blessings, inshallah. So that's a big tip I can give you. Yeah, definitely don't miss suhoor. Don't miss your pre-fasting meal. And that brings me to my next point. I get this. You've heard of protein shakes, right? So there's something called a mass gainer. It's a type of protein shake that has like extra excess calories. It's for people that have trouble putting on weight. So I get this 20-pound bag of mass gainer, and I put 3 scoops in a shake bottle, and it has like 1,000 calories. And I just ordered mine like a couple weeks ago, specifically for Ramadan. Like, I don't take it all the time. I don't even take protein powder all the time or anything, but definitely a trick, a hack that you can use for Ramadan is a mass gainer shake. Like, seriously, if I make the shake, it has 1,000 calories in it. That's what I'll do for my suhoor. Like, if I have any leftovers to eat, sure, I can munch on that or whatever. But sometimes time's running short and you don't have time to like eat a whole meal or eat something, because that's gonna, you have to bite it, you gotta chew it. It's gonna take you a minute. So if you need those calories because sunrise is like, 7 minutes from now, like, I'm just gonna chug that 1,000 calorie shake and guzzle like 3 or 4 waters. Like, and that's another point. Besides the mass gainer shake, you definitely want to drink as much water as you can. You want to guzzle that water. Like, if you've trained that muscle, for all my reformed drinkers out there, if you train that, doing that motion, yeah, that's gonna come in handy when you're doing suhoor, like before you start your fasting. You want to guzzle. That's a transferable skill here. You want to slam like 3 or 4 waters. You should be feeling like, if you jumped up and down, you should feel that stuff sloshing around in your belly. Like, like you should be just like a bowl full of liquid. So definitely chug those waters. Don't miss suhoor. Like, if you can, get yourself a mass gainer and make some shakes. So when time is of the essence, you can really get those calories in. And you should be full of water and full of calories before you go to sleep. Would be sleep in my case, but if you're staying up all day, like, there's your 1,000 calorie breakfast in your water for the day. Like, so that's definitely a hack that I can recommend for you. Yep. One last tip that I have for you would be cutting caffeine. So I'm somebody who's prone to headaches. Like, I get them a couple times a week. Sometimes a headache will last me 3 days. I don't know what gives. But anyway, cutting caffeine, it's going to be crucial. I have caffeine every day. I love having coffee. I have I got a Monster right here. I love energy drinks. I don't have multiple a day. I'll have like the coffee in the morning and this energy drink right here. I'll have it midday before I go to the gym. And that's pretty much every day. That's an everyday thing. I'm going to have my coffee, and I'm probably going to have a Monster. So when you go into Ramadan, like, and you're doing the fasting, like, your body's going to be missing that caffeine. So not only are you going to be short on calories, you're going to be dehydrated potentially if you didn't drink enough water, and you're going to be without your caffeine. And if you're somebody who has caffeine on a consistent basis, like, you're liable to get a headache. And that's always what's tough for me. Like, every Ramadan, the last 3 years so far, I've gotten a headache super bad, like the first day or two, like especially the first day. The first day is always the worst for me because I'll just get a killer headache and I can't have caffeine and I can't have Tylenol. Like, going without the food for me is whatever, because I only eat like during an 8-hour window anyway, like throughout the whole year. Like 16 hours I won't eat, and then like in an 8-hour window, that's typically when I would eat. Not even on purpose. That's just habit. It's habitual for me. So the food is whatever. Like, I miss not being able to take like a Tylenol or ibuprofen and have some caffeine. So that's the first thing that I usually do. I have a date to break my fast and take some Tylenol and have some caffeine, have a coffee. But that's just something I personally struggle with. If you are in the same boat, like you're prone to headaches or you're somebody who has a lot of caffeine, I definitely recommend, taper off your caffeine, like right now. Like, we're like maybe 6 days, or like 6 days or so, about a week. We're about a week out from Ramadan. So you should probably start tapering off that caffeine, and I should probably take my own advice with that too, so I don't wind up with a killer headache on the first day. But that's all my tips. That's all the tips I got for today. It's just my perspective on your first Ramadan and how it should go. Please don't be scared. Don't be apprehensive about it. The first day is probably going to be the toughest for you. The first 3 days are going to be the most challenging, more than the 30 days. Okay, the first day is going to be the toughest, then the 3, and like once you go like a week or 10 days, it's like it's natural for you. You'll get into the flow of things. And it's like breaking any other bad habit. Like especially for my reformed, users and abusers. Like, you know how it is. The first couple days is going to be the worst for you, but don't give up. Definitely don't give up. This is our obligation, and we're doing it for our benefit, not only because it's ordained and it's pleasing to Allah, but it's also for our benefit. This is beneficial for us. So just remember the reasons why we're doing it, and try to have fun with it. Definitely get to the masjid, connect with the community, be part of it, especially if you don't have that support system at home, other Muslims that you can associate with. Go to the masjid, make some friends, chat with people, raise your concerns, ask questions. And yeah, that's about it. That's all my tips. So good luck to you. I'm right there with you, and have a good one.